Hello, I'm delighted to be with you, Fiona Harrold here, and I am thrilled to be bringing today an old friend of mine, Miss Mirela Sula, who is the founder and CEO of probably the biggest female networking organization in the world. You've probably heard of it, the Global Women's Club, which is clubs throughout the world. Now, the reason that I really wanted to bring Mirela to the table, as it were, at the moment is because, of course, we're going through phenomenal challenges. The UK has just announced that we're going back into nationwide lockdown again. So it's a really tough time. And Mirela is this extraordinary woman that I met years ago, I think shortly after she came to London from Albania, with her son as a single parent with enough money in her pocket to last her a couple of months. Now, that was about 9 years ago, and I don't know how she's done it, but she has transformed herself and her work into creating, as I say, probably the biggest female networking organization in the world today. It's incredible. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Ms. Mirela Sula. And I'm going to ask you, Mirela,
Thank
for
you, Fiona. Thank you.
you're so welcome.
Connect.
You're so welcome. At the very least, there's not a word of exaggeration there, and you're far too humble, and that's all there is to it. But
Well, it's just yeah. Sometimes you just don't have time to stop and see how much we have been running, but it's still a journey.
precisely. So here's what I want to ask you. What's the biggest thing that you would want to offer people listening, watching this today, as we're about to go into another nationwide lockdown? What is something that you would want to offer people? Maybe something from your book, Don't Let Your Mind Go, because I know you're all about mental attitude, all about
Well,
taking.
everything is there. Everything is it's everything that we experience everyday life. It comes as a result of what kind of thoughts we have been entertaining with us, and what kind of power we give to our thoughts, and then that power comes back to us, and everything is like a cause and effect. So we are experiencing what we have caused, and sometimes people say, no, I didn't cause that. Is it you have to think about it. Recently my bag was stolen, and I was like devastated. All my life was there, and to be honest, I sat and thought, okay, I'm not going to make myself guilty, I'm not going to beat myself. I know it's me, it's not them. Probably somehow I've been kind of attracting this, because I believe on that. We attract things. So to answer your question, we have to be careful how we respond to things that happen in our life, because that is the biggest power that we have. If we somehow uh, we lose that power as we create it, at least we have to reflect and get that power back as we respond to fix it. There is always a second chance to fix what we have created. Everything that we see in the world is human beings have created. It doesn't come from nowhere. We all to have together have contributed into this crisis. Now, how can we respond? Take responsibilities, as at least take responsibilities to our actions, to our behaviors, to our contribution, to our everything that we do everyday life. Uh, this is something that I have learned long way. As you mentioned, it hasn't been an easy journey. When I arrived to this country, I've experienced a lot of crises, internal crisis, individual crisis, family crisis. And to be honest, somehow crises are a great opportunity for a new chapter, a great opportunity for growth, a great opportunity to get out of the box. And we need to see things that probably we haven't been able to see before, because the truth is that a lot of people um, see things that are not the way they are. So we need to wake up and make sure that we see opportunities on things. And I have realized that on myself. The same thing that happens now, I didn't used to experience before the same way. So that means that I am more conscious, I am more awakened, I'm more prepared, because once you fall down and you learn how to get out of it as soon as possible, and you do that through the hardship, and you do it yourself, then you prepare yourself what is going to happen if that comes again, and how you are going to respond to this, and how to it, and how you are going to manage to get out of that situation. So the lockdown, of course, is not a good news, but I always say there are two things that we do, two ways we can see things. Things that we have control on them, and things that we don't have control on them. So things that we don't have control on them, they are more than 90%, because there are a lot of research that I've been exploring. Like more than 90% of things that people worry all the time are things that have no control at all. And most of the time are things that never happen. And sometimes I tell to my ladies, darling, but why do you worry twice? Wait and worry when it happens, and when it happens, you'll see what happens. And so we laugh with it. But let's suppose that we have control, and what we have control of is like how we respond to it. And that's why we need to focus on this situation. What is in our control? How can we manage the situation? How we can contribute to first to yourself, because yourself and you are two little pieces that need to put together, and you need to support each other. And then as you support yourself, then you have to put some oxygen to other people as well.
Beautiful. I mean, that's probably a recipe for handling life, handling any crisis in life, if ever I've heard one. I've just made a note. So I've heard three things. In particular, I've heard that you've got to choose that on some level you played a part in this. So you got to assume that, you know, on some level you participated in what's happened. And number two, you want to look at, you know, how you've contributed to this situation. And then number three is that attitude of, okay, this is a new chapter. How can I really make this work? So it just feels like what you're really saying, Mirela, is don't waste energy or time thinking, I wish it was different, and looking for somebody to blame. Just get on with the hand that you've been dealt, what's in front of you, and make the best of it. Would you say that's fairly accurate, Mirela?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just nailed it. I think more and more people are realizing that they have more power than they thought they have, and if they don't recognize that power, and if they don't claim that power, then somebody else is going to use that power. Somewhere that power is going to go. So the first thing is that how do we utilize the power that is given internally to us? Because every human being has that power, especially activated by the energy that we use. And the energy comes mainly from the way we think, because thought is energy, and how we produce the energy is based on thinking. So then if we recognize this, and we are able to also claim and take possession of it, and also take ownership of it, and not blame other people or circumstances, whatever. Sometimes, of course, it's not our fault, but most of the time it's our fault. And if it is your fault, it's still okay. It's not, I mean, I know all the time, 100%, everything happens to my life is my fault, but I tell myself, it's not your fault. Don't worry, it's nobody's fault. It's going to be okay. Why I say that is because it's not good to blame other people, but it's not good to blame yourself either. So, and it's not good to blame the past. It's better you take possessions of everything that has happened, and ask yourself the right questions, which can be Okay, now here I am, instead of saying, why this is happening to me? Yes, it happened. The best question is not this one, is, okay, here I am, this has happened. What do I do with it now? How do I get out of this? And the second question is, how do I get out of this as soon as possible? Because it's not just to get out of it, is to get out of it as soon as possible. Now, the more you have faced these challenges, the better, because then you get your resilience strength stronger and stronger. So that's why I always say, when my ladies come and open their dramas and traumas, and they tell me little stories and crying and say, look, you have no idea what happened to my life. I said, oh my God, this is good news. Okay, let's open the file. Do we have more like this? I said, what do you mean? I said, this is great stuff. Let's take it up. Let's design a nice story now.
I mean, you strike me, Mirela, as someone who honestly does not waste an ounce of energy. It's like your resilience, your attitude is amazing. And here's what I'm curious about, and I think a lot of people listening to you might be asking this as well. What if things go wrong? So on the one hand, you're saying, don't blame yourself, don't waste energy blaming yourself. You know, you're this amazing gung-ho person and you go for things. But what happens if things don't work out? Like, did you never worry when you were in Albania, leaving your family behind? I'm sure quite a few of them thinking you were crazy coming to this foreign country with not so much money. But did you never think, what's going to happen actually if it doesn't work out?
You reminded me of my mother now. She, oh my God, she made this question not once, but hundreds of times. What if goes wrong? And I said, what is going to go wrong? What is the worst scenario is going to happen? I will come back after 1 year. I have tried, but that will be the best year of my life, because I get out of the box. I don't want to die here, seeing nothing, experiencing nothing, doing nothing. I will probably go and be very proud of myself that I tried. I learned English. I met some new people. I learned about the new culture. I can come back and tell stories. So that is not, even if it goes wrong, that is the worst scenario. That is not wrong, it's right. So it depends what people call it wrong.
Yeah, perfect.
For me, that was not wrong. It was wrong for my mother, but was so right for me. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, what are you looking for? You have everything. I had my luxury apartment in the poshest area in the country, like Mayfair. I had my luxury position in the society. I was really achieved everything that I wanted in my home country. I was on TV almost every day, sometimes twice a day. I was teaching at the university. I mean, in the eyes of other people, I had everything. And my mother simply could not understand, what are you looking for? How can you divorce your husband, sell your house, sell your car, resign, get out? And I found exits for everything. And I'm just sitting there and waiting, because I knew I needed a change. And she, you know, I will tell you something else. She really experienced that really bad. And she knew all the time, because she was talking with my son on the phone. She got very connected. My son was not happy at all, and I don't blame him, because he came to a new country. He didn't have friends. He didn't have his room. He was sleeping in the floor in the studio flat, and he didn't have his father, and he was a teenager going through all his life change cycle. So he had all the reasons to be upset with me. So my mother was getting a lot of information from him, and she was depressed. She was like, how could you do this to yourself and to your son? You better come home. And I said, Mama, what's wrong with you? I said, no, this is not right. You are alone. You don't have a husband. You don't have anybody. How can you live there like this way? And when my mother got to know that finally I found a man in my life, she was relieved. And she told my sister, now I'm okay.
No, I can relate.
because my biggest worry was who is going to marry her now that she's over 40.
Oh my gosh.
That's why my next big book is who will marry me,
Yeah,
because the biggest thing for ladies and for girls and for mamas and everybody is like, oh, when are you getting to get married? Do you have a man in your life?
yeah,
That is a big thing.
yeah. So here's what I'm curious about, Mirela. How did you get to be this way? I mean, do you really think you were just born with this terrific ambition and drive and mindset? Or was there something that happened in your life that switched you into looking at life in this way?
Well, I think we are all born with uh, abilities to activate some inner power and sources, invisible forces that are inside, but people simply don't know that. And when you don't know what you don't know, you simply don't know. And I was in that darkness for years, for years. I went into severe depression. I lost my daughter. I had a lot of dramas and traumas in my life. If you read my first books,
I know.
um, so if you would read my first 4 or 5 books, where poems, fictions, oh my God, you'll go depressed, because all my poems were sad, dark, negative, blaming the world, blaming my parents, my stepfather, my father, my mother, my whole world.
What
I
changed?
was the only good person in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody else was bad.
So how did you change? Because anyone looking at you is going to think that you just are this force of nature and that you were obviously just born this way and you got lucky with that mindset. So in all honesty, it's pretty reassuring that actually you activated this way of being in the world, this way of thinking in the world. Because what it actually means is that anyone can do the same. Anyone.
Anyone, absolutely.
Tell me where your point was. Where
I was a housewife in a very small village, serving 9 men in the house.
wow, in Albania.
Yes, I was married. I was a nice family. I was married in a big family. And I had to wash clothes with my hands. I had to cook. I had to look after the cow and the sheep and the all kind of village things. And then very soon I discovered there is a little town out there. I want to go and see how life is there. So once I discovered the town, I couldn't stay in peace. I did everything it takes to convince my ex-husband to go and live in the town. And I thought my life is the most wonderful life once I got that dream come true, until I lost my daughter, was my first child. And once I lost my daughter, I lost my mind. I lost everything. I wanted to die. I simply wanted to die. I was severe depressed. But in my country, psychology was something that never was discussed before. No, but I never heard about psychology. I never heard about depression. I never heard about anxiety, all kind of things. I never heard anybody talking about these. So I thought something is really wrong with me. I didn't know with who to talk. And I just wanted to give up my life, but I discovered I'm pregnant again, and I got scared. I thought this is sin. I can't kill another human being inside me. So I decided to leave because I discovered I'm pregnant again. And then what happened is, after I gave birth, I'm even worse, postpartum. First, I had a lot of fears. What if my other child becomes sick again and goes again? And what if whatever, all kind of things, really bad. I was fighting and I didn't know how to help myself, until one day I opened up to my mother and I said, look, I feel I'm dying. I can't, I didn't tell her everything because I didn't know how to explain it. And she just said, oh, you, I don't know, I don't remember. She's the only person that I opened up. And then what I remember, I started reading books because I was a writer by nature. I loved writing. I was writing poems. The way I healed myself when my daughter passed away, I started writing a book about her. It's still, in the library somewhere. And I wrote a book on her name. And I remember I was staying all night crying and writing and crying and writing and crying. I mean, that book has saved me. I always say, it's not the book that you read, it's the book that you write that can heal you. I think that was a healing therapy. So to keep it short, because then I was really passionate about reading and writing, I started discovering books that started helping me to understand myself better, and went from one book to another, and from one book to another, and from one book to another. Then I discovered that there is also an opportunity for me to study a master's degree in psychology. So I left the country for 2 years to go and study counseling psychology, because I wanted to help myself. So I did a master's degree in counseling psychology. I went back to my home country. And then because of that, I got in touch with Tony Robbins literature, Les Brown, Jack Canfield, all these big names, John DeMartini. And I remember myself sitting there and thinking, oh my God, these guys are real. These guys exist. I want to meet them. And was like that. I said, okay, I'm going to make a plan. How do I get out? They'd never come to Albania. I don't think they're going to come here. I have to go where they are. And that made me I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all these people that I could never imagine that it would be my colleagues. I would share the stage with them. I could travel with them, have dinners and lunch and work with them. So the mind it's amazing how you use it. It's just amazing.
That is one heck of a journey, honestly, Mirela. It really is. And I think, you do have this extraordinary enthusiasm and excitement. And I think people feed off that. I mean, I honestly remember the first time I met you, and I don't know if you remember, but I was part of some event or giving some talk or other somewhere in the
Yeah, it was my beginnings. I had just arrived in this country. I was adoring you. I said, oh my God, how does she do it?
I know. And then I was like, I don't know, signing books or something afterwards. And you were like this tiny little woman who was just like, hey, we've got to talk. I've got a magazine. I want to interview. And I was just like, okay. You were just this incredible force of nature. I mean, you were so.
Thank you. Oh, I just think I'm normal like everybody, and I do my best. And sometimes Fiona, sometimes I share a story which is very interesting. People think that my life is easy. No, it's not easy at all. If I tell you how hundreds of things I have to deal every single day, but I deal with them with enthusiasm. So if somebody would have all these challenges I have, probably would just sit in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I laugh with it. I just say, okay, great, next please. So I will tell you a story. People, because they see me running and running and running, they, oh my God, why she's doing that? And here we are. I have a neighbor. He's retired. He's the driver of all of us, all the neighbors. His name is Ian. Mm-hmm. And he knows everything about me. When I have guests, who comes in, who gets out, when I travel, when I go to LA or Chicago or Miami or whatever, he has my agenda. He's like, and all the time he's saying, okay, you are in my agenda. I'm going to pick you up, go to the airport. Anyway, but one thing that he knows all the time, I'm always late. Always running. Yeah, I'm late. I need to go, please. I have to catch a flight. Not anymore. And one moment, and he's always waiting behind the door, and he gets all that. He's such a gentleman. So I jump in the car and I say, oh my God, Jan, we are really late. This time, I'm telling you, we're really late. And he's silent. One moment, he asked me, he said, Mirela, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He said, why you're always running and running and running? I don't understand why you do that. And I look at him and said, Jan, stop the car right now. And he took me like, no, I can't stop the car now. I can't. We have a traffic light. I said, this is how I feel. I can't stop, Jan. I haven't arrived it yet. There are a lot of traffic lights. If I stop, I can crash. I can get a fine. And he looked at me and said, oh my God, yes, I get you. He's very clever. Yeah. Now, as an analogy of that, there is another story which is very connected with this. I share this story, and then later on, I'm organizing an event, like I do this meet. I used to do these meetings, and one of our members comes, but we saw her on social media saying congratulations. Everybody was saying to her, congratulations, you had a marathon. She had a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was congratulating her that she reached her destination.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes the next morning and everybody saying, hey, well done to you, amazing. We were just we're very impressed with her. And
Mm-hmm.
she comes, I invite her to come and speak, and she starts crying. I said, well, are you okay, my darling? What is happening? Are you okay? And she said, people keep congratulating me, but they don't know the truth. I said, what is the truth? I wanted to quit hundreds of times. Every time that I was running, I said, oh my God, I'm dying. But I can't stop, because if I stop, these people will kill me. So I didn't reach the destination because I'm great, but because I didn't have another option.
Got it.
After she left, on the way back, I reflected on that. I said, oh my God,
Mm.
this is how I feel.
Mm.
I can't stop. Even if I want to stop, I can't stop, because once you start a journey, you don't have a choice. And if there is one big lesson that I want to leave everybody, and this is my top thing that is all the time in my mind, is if you start something, you have to see it in the completion. If you start something but you don't mean to complete it, you better don't start it. Because if you start something and you stop, you create the habit of failure. And you start and you stop, and you start and you stop, and you start and you stop, and you are just a piece of failure, how you feel it inside. For me, if I start, I know it's going to be a way to the end. I know there is a way to the end. How I'm going to get there, it doesn't matter. It has to be a way. Otherwise, if there is no way, I knew I would not be walking or running on that direction. Because the reason I'm running is because there is a destination somewhere, which is my destiny, and I don't want to stop.
That's interesting, Mirela. When you say it's your destiny, is that, do you think that's part of what drives you? What gives you this incredible energy and keeps you going and keeps you achieving?
Well, I think everything is a piece of logic. For me, it feels like sometimes it comes like from invisible kind of power that you feel inside, and that is not invisible, is energy where people operate. But it's also a sense of logic. You create some logic on your journey, and you create the like the puzzle, and then you just start putting the little pieces in the puzzle, and then you see that is falling to the right place. Everything is falling to the right place. Sometimes you can't put the puzzle immediately. You have to try and try again and try again. You know, the puzzle has all the pieces. For sure, you can't blame, oh no, I don't do it, I'm not able to do it because the puzzle is wrong. The puzzle is right. You have to be patient. Sometimes you do it right, sometimes you do it wrong, you do it again. And that is another thing that I train myself all the time. Okay, don't worry, you have to do it again. I said, and myself tells me, I said, but I did it again. So you do it again. But I did it again. You do it again. But again and again and again and again. And it has to be, if there is no end, it's good news.
So here's the thing. It feels like you have this extraordinary momentum going on in your life that is obviously keeping you going now. But I just want to ask you one simple question before we finish. That personal power that you're talking about, Mirela, that we all have within us and that we can all activate. Could you give us just one tip? I'm just thinking of people who are perhaps listening to this or watching this, and maybe they're feeling extremely low at the moment. They're thinking, I just do not have that spark. Maybe Mirela's a different type of person from me. How can someone, when they are feeling very low, find or activate that personal power? How can they get it going?
You have to do your homework. It's you have, look, there is not such thing, nothing for something. If you want something, you have to do something. So before you do something, you have to first know who you are. And how you know who you are is a lot of homework. You have to discover all dark zones, all gifts, or talents, or bads, good, and activate the good one inside you.
Okay,
How you do that?
Here's what I'm hearing that you just said, and I think this might just be the key, Mirela. What I've heard you say just now is, look, nothing's going to drop in your lap. Nothing's going to come and just place itself in front of you.
No, never.
You have
If
to
you
just,
think these lucky people, no, they have done their work.
well, I think that's a good thing for people to hear. I really do. Because if someone is sitting feeling very flat and disillusioned and dispirited right now, they might well be looking at someone like you thinking, well, you're just different. You're just a different type of person from me. Somehow you've got it easy or made it easy. But what I'm really hearing you say, Mirela, is look, you have got to, in that place where you're sitting, just know and accept that it's down to you. You've got to do whatever you can do in that moment to get yourself lifted up, to get yourself moving forward, and accept that that really is the key. That really is the key.
Absolutely. Nobody is coming to save you, my darling.
Nobody is coming to
No,
save you.
no.
And it's not that it's been easy or easier for other
Well,
people.
people have their own battles. They have to deal with their own battles. These guys stolen my bag. I feel sorry for them. It is really hard to stolen somebody's proper items. It's really, I mean, it's harder for somebody to stolen something than for somebody to experience the the whole violation.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is going through battles, but
Yeah.
we have to find good ways how to deal with our battles.
Yeah.
We have to, because that doesn't help. How we respond. For example, I am experiencing this world crisis the same way as a lot of other people are experiencing. But the way we respond is, some people respond by doing bad actions. Some people respond by activating the good resource inside them. So it's all about, it's not the event, it's not what is happening outside there to the world, is how you choose to respond. It's very important that you choose the good response for the sake of yourself. Because if you end up doing something bad, it's not that you're doing bad to somebody else, you're doing bad to yourself. I read recently, I'm also writing a blog and also creating a blog about how Facebook put people in depression.
Yeah.
People just see other people having like a luxury lifestyle according to them, and they get depressed.
Yeah.
That's really bad, because you are draining your energy thinking bad about somebody else. If you think bad about somebody else, that you don't know how much energy you're spending on that thinking, which can go into something good for yourself.
Good.
So that is the big thing that I would really urge everybody. I don't love people and I don't help people because I love them more than I love myself. I love them because that love comes back to my strength. It's because I understand the law of nature.
Yeah.
I don't bless my whatever who'd stolen my bag. I bless them and I love them, not because I feel, I mean, of course I feel sorry for them, but because I know that gives me the strength.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I love myself.
Yeah.
And I have to do it properly, because if I don't do it properly, I can imagine I can sit there and that can bring another bag and another bad and another bad thing and another bad thing. I want to break that cycle, that circle, because once a bad thing comes, hundreds of other bad things come if you allow them to come. So for me, a lot of hundreds things good are happening after that thing happened. Of course, it was a huge loss, it was like my life just a week ago. And the day after, I have makeup, lipstick, dress up, go, and I deal with my people in the bank and people at the mobile, and I have to carry on. Life continues. You have my ladies, my darlings, my gentlemen, wherever, my friends, my brothers, sisters. You have to look after yourself under these circumstances. You have to look after yourself. Letting yourself down doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody. My son, I was talking last night with him, and I showed him a nice little quote. And there was a little boy walking with a horse, and the little boy was saying, the horse was in the jungle. Say, I can't see through. I can't see. And the horse said, "Can you see the next step?" "Oh, yeah, I can see the next step." "That's good enough. Just go on, move on. Just see the next step. This is what you need to see right now. You don't need to worry about what is going to happen next year. I don't know. Nobody knows. Who knows? But I know what is happening now. I'm in a nice interview with Fiona. I'm enjoying it. Let's go with the flow."
Perfect. Perfect. I love it. Listen, thank you so much, Mirela. Thank you. And I honestly think people are going to feel uplifted by hearing everything you've shared today. And I think, the really important thing is for people not to judge themselves or compare themselves to somebody else, because it's so easy. You could even compare yourself to Mirela, for goodness sakes, and then feel deflated. But that would be crazy. So really take from this what Mirela's suggesting, that you don't waste a drop of your precious personal power and energy in any of that. And you take yourself forward one step at a time. And ultimately, you're taking responsibility for creating what you want, knowing that that's always the way, always the way. That's how you get your luck. That's how you get your momentum and good things happening. So, Mirela, thank you so much, my darling. I know how busy you are. And I will see you very soon. And your book is Don't Let Your Mind Go. Yeah, your latest one.
Yes, let go everything, but keep this.
Yes.
It's something that you need all the time.
100%. 100%. Thank you, my darling.
Thank you, my darling. Bless you. Thank you for all your support and everything you do. You have been a great coach and mentor for me from the very beginning, and I really appreciate you.
Bless you, Mirela. I love you. Take care, my gorgeous.
You too, my darling.
Hey, take care, my pet. Bye.